Week 10 NFL Power Rankings. Let's go. All right, at number 32, Houston Texans. The Texans luckily were on a bye week, so they didn't get their asses kicked by anybody. I had them at 32 last week, and I kept them there because they are fucking bad. Number 31, New Jersey Jets. Mike White, baby. So I'm going to tell you, when Mike White was named a starter earlier in the week, I had Jets fans texting me all week. I mean, partially joking, but telling me that the Bills should be afraid of a second week in a row upset. For real. Now, the thing is, I'll be honest, I'm more afraid of playing Mike White than I am against Zach Wilson. But the success that Mike White has seen has been against defenses that are not the Buffalo Bills. Mike White came out and threw 4 interceptions. And quite honestly, this might be his last start ever. I think it might be Joe Flacco time in New Jersey. He did come in and score a touchdown like real quick against the Bills' 4th, 5th, 6th string. Oh man, this team is bad. Number 30, Detroit Lions. Man, they were so close. Jared Goff is just not good. We always knew that, but we're seeing it week after week now. Granted, he's got limited weapons in Detroit, but a good quarterback is going to have at least some shining moments. And he hasn't had not one this season. He's been awful. The positive that the Lions need to take out of this game is that the running game looked amazing against a really good Steelers defense. And it's only fitting that the Lions get the first tie of the season because they didn't win, but they didn't lose. It's like the perfect storyline. But I gotta wonder, are Lions fans happy with the tie? Is it enough that they just didn't lose? Do Lions fans even want a win this year? Because if they fuck around and win a game or two this year, they're gonna be giving up that number 1 overall pick to the Texans. Number 29, Jacksonville Jaguars. Bruh, Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars had a chance to drive down the field in the 4th quarter to tie the game against the Colts. Unfortunately, Lawrence was strip sacked and turned the ball over. The Colts took over, kneeled the ball, game over. But you got to give the Jaguars credit for making this game as close as it was. After 12 minutes of play, the Jaguars found themselves down 17-0. But the Jaguars defense did look really good against a pretty decent Colts offense. And that's 2 weeks in a row that they've looked good. They actually forced 3 3-and-outs in a row. A valiant effort by the Jags. Number 28, the Denver Broncos. After a monster win last week against the Cowboys, the Broncos follow that win up by laying a fucking egg at home against the Eagles. Like, what in the shit, man? Teddy Bridgewater played absolutely awful, missing his targets time and time again. But despite playing awful, the Broncos had a chance to tie this game late. But then Melvin Gordon fumbles the ball away, recovered by Darius Slay, and ran into the end zone by the Eagles. Come on, Broncos. This is why I think that you're so terrible, and I give you no respect. Number 27, Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins have won 2 games in a row, absolutely looking like a playoff caliber team, with a massive win over the Baltimore Ravens on Thursday night. It was the Dolphins defense that was the story of the night for sure. Their defensive effort was highlighted by Xavier Howard when he picked up a fumble and ran into the house. It was the defense that won this game. And that's 3 games in a row that they've looked good. But if you listen to Dolphins fans, they're talking about Tua. Tua did this. Tua this, Tua that, Tua. Man, fuck a Tua. Because Brissett got injured, Tua was forced in the game, and they ended up winning the game. So now Tua is the next Tom Brady. The left-handed Tom Brady, I even heard. Stop it. But you got to give credit to the Dolphins for a big win over a good Ravens team. Number 26, Chicago Bears. Bears were on a bye week. I had them at 28 last week. They moved up 2 spots to 26. Number 25, Minnesota Vikings. Wait, hold up. Did the Vikings actually close out a game that they were winning? Is that even fucking possible? Justin Jefferson, 9 catches, 143 yards, leads the charge over the Chargers. You see what I did there? And the Vikings get a very much needed win and may have just saved Mike Zimmer's job for at least another couple weeks, but he still needs to go. Number 24, Atlanta Falcons. Like, seriously, poor Matt Ryan. I feel for him right here. You hate to see an aging quarterback looking so terrible. And it's not really his fault. He deserves better than this. He needs an offensive line to protect his old ass. But in this game against a really good Cowboys team, 3rd and long seemed to be the theme of the game. And that equated to just scoring 1 field goal on the day and getting blown the fuck out 43-3. Hey, at least Atlanta's got the Braves, right? Number 23, Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson returned to the field, and boy was he rusty. Russell Wilson was 0 for 7 with an interception on deep passes. For the first time in Russell Wilson's career, he was shut out. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett were targeted 16 times between the two of them with only 5 catches. I mean, it's to be expected. Everybody's rusty when they come back. But man, the Seahawks are hoping that all that rust is knocked off, because in a really crazy, shitty, lower tier NFC, the Seahawks still have a chance at the playoffs. But they're going to need Russell Wilson. Number 22, New Jersey Giants. Giants were on a bye week. I had them at 19 last week, and they dropped a couple spots. Number 21, Washington. What an absolutely impressive win for Washington over the Super Bowl champ Tampa Bay Bucks. The game plan that Ron Rivera came in with worked like a fucking charm. Control the clock, keep Tom Brady off the field. And the perfect depiction of this plan came on the final drive of the game. Washington's up by 4 points, and they burned over 10 minutes of game clock with a 19-play drive that ended with an Antonio Gibson touchdown to seal the game. Fucking impressive. But they did lose Chase Young for the season with a torn ACL. Not good. Number 20, Las Vegas Raiders. I believe that the sun has set on the Raiders' chances of winning the AFC West. What an embarrassing loss at home on Sunday Night Football against division rival Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Raiders have been through some shit this year. We all know this. Is it starting to catch up with them? Or is this team just not really that good? Their defense played like absolute poo. They gave up 516 total fucking yards. And their supposed strength, their running game with Kenyon Drake and Josh Jacobs, 50 yards. What the fuck is that? Now, I understand you were throwing the ball because you were playing from behind, but the Raiders' identity is Josh Jacobs. The Raiders are in some serious fucking trouble. Number 19, Carolina Panthers. So you're telling me with Sam Darnold out of the lineup, the Carolina Panthers get a huge dominant win over a really good NFL team? Get the fuck out of here. Who would have thought that? Christian McCaffrey is back. 161 total yards in literally just 3 quarters because he sat the 4th quarter. Because it was a blowout. Because there was no Sam Darnold. Not because of Cam Newton. Stop that now. I know that they're planning on making this guy the starter, and I think that's a mistake, to be honest. I don't think Cam Newton's good, but I suppose that he's the better option, I guess. But I guess we'll see. Number 18, Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts may have arrived as an NFL QB. He absolutely dominated the Broncos in the first half of that game, throwing 15 of 20 for 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's impressive. Both touchdowns went to Devontae Smith, who is also looking like a stud. Now, when they came back from halftime, they had a 10-point lead, and they switched their game plan to the run game and pounded the shit out of the Broncos on the ground. An excellent defensive performance rounded out a very, very impressive win for the Eagles. Now, I know it was just the Broncos, but they looked like a complete team, the Eagles did. It could be a glimpse of what this Eagles offense could look like in the very near future. Number 17, Cleveland Browns. The Browns are bad. Yep, they're bad. Too many commercials for Baker Mayfield. I've never seen an athlete be in so many commercials while being so irrelevant in his actual sport. But that's besides the fact. Now, granted, missing Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt still on the IR, they're both severely missed in that offense. I get it. But I would have never thought that this team was going to look this bad. Earlier in the year, all anyone wanted to talk about was their defense. Well, how do you explain giving up 45 points to Mac Jones and the Patriots? I think the Browns are done. They're in a very, very tight AFC North, and them losing games like this is not helping. Number 16, San Francisco 49ers. It was like the Niners took my comments about them last week and shoved them in my face. I made mention that they don't play well at home. They took that and ran with it. Literally. 72% of their first half plays were run plays. This was an impressive win on Monday Night Football over the Rams. Number 15, Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals were on a bye week. They sit at 5-4. I had them at 17 last week. They move up 2 spots. Number 14, Los Angeles Chargers. Now here come the Chargers that we all know and love. All that hype surrounding them at the beginning of the year is pretty much all gone. And I feel like a broken record because I feel like I say this every week. But we need to stop talking about Justin Herbert. We need to stop talking about this freaking offense. We need to stop talking about that. This is the Chargers' time. Finally, they had their chance this week at home to take over first place, and they lost to the fucking Vikings. They shit the bed against the Vikings. Kirk Cousins. Now, I know I'm not an expert. I'm just a goofy, irrelevant man who loves football and likes to talk about it. But I really wish all these experts out there on ESPN and CBS and Fox would gently release Justin Herbert's dick and remove themselves from it. He's okay. He's like the new age Matt Ryan. Number 13, New Orleans Saints. Trevor Siemian is not taking this team to the playoffs. Sorry. They're going to continue to slide down the standings with him, especially if Alvin Kamara continues to miss time. This past weekend against the Titans, the Saints offense looked absolutely fucking lost without Alvin Kamara in the lineup. Sure, you can bring in Mark Ingram, but he's not Kamara. In fact, I don't even think he's a starter. But in this game, despite all the struggles, 2 extra points missed, the Saints were still in position to tie the game late in the fourth quarter. And after scoring a touchdown, the Saints went for 2 to tie the game, and their tight end committed a fucking false start. Like, that's gotta be so frustrating. And this literally summed up the entire fucking game for the Saints. Mistakes. Number 12, Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, Ben Roethlisberger missing the game due to COVID might have been the reason why they didn't win this game. But at the end of the day, you were home against the Lions. And Mason Rudolph isn't like someone who hasn't played. Mason Rudolph has got some big-time experience as a starter in Pittsburgh. Big Ben being out, Chase Claypool being out, the weather, TJ Watt getting hurt, all valid reasons to not win this game against the Lions. But it's the Lions. Now, the question that remains to be seen with the Steelers, will this tie, this half game, will it help them in the playoff race, or will it hurt them? Will they get a spot by a half game, or will they lose a spot by a half game? Number 11, Indianapolis Colts. After 12 minutes of gameplay, the Colts led the Jags 17-0. And my thoughts were, fucking blowout. Fuck them Jags for what they did to the Bills last week. But then, the Colts have this quarterback. His name is Carson Wentz. And he arrived. And he struggled mightily against the Jacksonville defense. Luckily, on the other side of the ball, Carson Wentz has the luxury of having a great defense, who made Trevor Lawrence real uncomfortable with 10 quarterback hits. Number 10, Baltimore Ravens. I am at a loss for words over this game against the Dolphins. Lamar Jackson looked nothing like himself. I feel like I am never going to understand this Baltimore Ravens team, ever. One week they look like they're Super Bowl bound, then the next week they're getting beat by the fucking Dolphins. And if you recall, they should have lost to the fucking Lions. I will never trust this team ever again. And for as long as I'm making my power ranking videos, I will never put them in my top 5, ever. If they win the fucking Super Bowl this year, they're still at least number 6. Fucking Ravens, man. Number 9, Kansas City Chiefs. Here come the Chiefs. The Chiefs took back the AFC West lead, and I don't think that they're going to give that shit back up. I think that the Chiefs hit like some speed bumps earlier in the year. I feel like they might have righted their ship, and they're about to go the fuck off. That's how I feel about the Chiefs. And I hate that. They literally took a shit on the division leader Raiders on Sunday Night Football for everyone to see. Fucking Chiefs. Number 8, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So following a bye week, Tom Brady had an off week. He had 2 interceptions on the Bucks' first 3 possessions. But at the end of the day, we're talking about Tom fucking Brady, the GOAT. So you know there was a comeback brewing. Brady finally got on track, but Washington's game plan of keeping the ball away from him and running that clock worked. Brady never got the chance. Bucks lose their 3rd game, 2 in a row, and we're going to need to see how they rebound from that. Number 7, New England Patriots. Bill Belichick proves yet again why he is the greatest coach in the NFL. So the Browns came out, scored on their opening possession, and then that was it. The Patriots defense held them in check, boy. Putting up 45 on a Browns defense is impressive. And with their 4th victory in a row, the Patriots are very, very relevant in the AFC playoff picture. Their 2 remaining games with the Buffalo Bills are going to be fucking fun. Number 6, Los Angeles Rams. OBJ makes his debut with the Rams on Monday Night Football. And right off the bat, we see a microcosm of what his time in Cleveland looked like. Matthew Stafford drops back, throws up a deep pass in OBJ's direction, forcing a target when it was not needed, and the pass was intercepted. Forcing targets to OBJ needs to stop. I've made mention all week that the Rams signing OBJ was eerily similar to when the Brooklyn Nets signed Blake Griffin. A has-been with a big name coming to an already stacked team and being irrelevant. Matthew Stafford has a very similar start in this game against the Niners that he did last week against the Titans. Throws an interception, follows it up with a pick 6. And for the 2nd week in a row, the Rams offense gets bullied by a defense And this is not a good look for a team that's supposed to be winning it all. They're all in. Yeah, they're all in trouble. Better figure this shit out, Rams. Number 5, Arizona Cardinals. Just 1 week ago, Colt McCoy filled in for Kyler Murray and played outstanding. This week, however, the exact opposite. The Cardinals were blown out by the Panthers at home to give them their second loss of the year. The Cardinals are a good team, don't get me wrong. And they were missing their QB1 and their wide receiver 1. Again. But there's something about this team that doesn't sit well with me. I don't see dominance in this team. Now, the interesting question is, the Cardinals have the Seahawks this week, and then they're on a bye week. Do they rush Kyler Murray back for the game against the Seahawks, or do they rest him again, give him another rest week on their bye week, and then come back full strength? Let's see how that plays out. Number 4, Buffalo Bills. Was that loss to the Jaguars just a wake-up call for the Buffalo Bills? All week long, the Bills beat writers were reporting that this team was unrecognizable during practices. Head coach Sean McDermott was not allowing any horseplay or tomfoolery at all. It was all fucking business. He was pissed. And this type of practice showed this week. The Bills opened up the game against the Jets with laser fucking focus. And despite some hiccups in the second quarter, they finished out the second half looking like the best team in fucking football. Or at least the AFC. It was like flashbacks of last year. Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs were on fucking point. And the Jets defense had no answer for Diggs. And when their starting DB got hurt and they had to bring in some dude, Josh Allen took advantage of that shit and threw at Diggs literally on every fucking play. Defensively, the Buffalo Bills' strength, all 5 starters in the secondary had a takeaway. Taron Johnson, interception. Jordan Poyer, interception. Trey White, interception. Levi Wallace, interception. Micah Hyde, forced fumble and recovered fumble. And finally, fun fact. The Bills won by 25 plus points. This was the 6th time that they've done that since the start of the 2020 season. That's the most in the NFL. Number 3, Tennessee Titans. Whew! The Titans somehow hang on to win a game against the Saints for their 6th straight win and keep the lead in the top of the AFC. It wasn't pretty, especially in the run game. And that's to be expected after you lose Derrick Henry. But Ryan Tannehill did exactly what he needed to do to grind out another win against a quality NFL team. It's worth mentioning that Jeremy Simmons is becoming an absolute fucking beast in the NFL. Week after week, he is just blowing up offensive linemen to get to the QB and tackling running backs in the backfield for loss. This Titans defense deserves all the credit for this 6-game win streak that they're on because their offense is barely doing anything. Number 2, Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers returns and looks rusty, as expected. He had almost no effect with his deep passes and relied on short passes. That turned into big plays. But it was the Packers defense that shined brightly on this snowy day. Against a Seahawks team that got Russell Wilson back, this Packers defense pitched a fucking shutout. Well fucking done. The bad news is they lose Aaron Jones to a sprained ACL. But it does seem like A.J. Dillon is okay with carrying that fucking load. Packers are scary. Number 1, Dallas Cowboys. Holy shit, man. So the Cowboys get themselves Michael Gallup back in the lineup. They've got motivation to play well after being embarrassed by the fucking Broncos last week, and they're playing a very soft Atlanta Falcons defense. You had to imagine that they were going to come out firing, and that's what the fuck they did. Cowboys offense is clicking. We all knew that was going to happen, but every week I say the same thing. It's this defense that's impressive. The most impressive part of this game is that they held the Falcons to just a field goal. The Falcons' offense is not that bad. To be held to just a field goal is fucking impressive. Especially in garbage time. Like, how did they not score? This Cowboys defense is fucking sick. Deservedly, Dan Quinn gets the game ball after the game. And this game let the NFL know that the Cowboys are back on track. As a Bills fan who moved to the Dallas area, I am looking and hoping for a Bills-Cowboys Super Bowl. That would be the craziest 2 weeks. Dealing with all my friends that are Cowboy fans. Oh my God, I'm getting excited thinking about it. Go Bills, go Cowboys.